All right, we are back with another Pick'em video. It is Tuesday, March 3rd in the NBA. We have a big slate of basketball. I got some plays that I'm really liking, so if that sounds cool, go on and leave the video a like, comment something down below, subscribe if you are new, all those good things. Let's start with the recap of yesterday's video picks, and then we'll get into the plays for today. And pretty much a wash of a day, down 0.25 units yesterday. Reed Shepherd came through early for us, looked good, shot 11 threes, couldn't fully climb his ladder, but got to 4 of those things. KD didn't do much of any assisting the ball. I thought he, could absolutely dime up against the Wizards, and the Wizards actually keep this thing close. And KD, not a big assister, scored pretty well actually, which I don't think a lot of people were expecting. Baylor Shireman points over. That looked really good. Obviously, it moved a little bit once Jaylen Brown got ruled out. Once Kada got ruled out, Shireman ends with 10 points, I believe, on the night. So nice, easy cash there. And then Jokic triple-double, minus 130 is supposed to be like, I almost didn't go to this because I was like, it's too juiced. He'll probably get it anyway, but I just went to it anyway. And he doesn't get there. Doesn't have the assists, 5 assists on the night. If you go through and watch, as I was talking about that game, I was like, I don't really love the Jokic 10.5 assist line. So then I was like, but he'll probably get 10. Doesn't mean I should, absolutely smash the under on his 10.5. I was very close. But the assists were not there for him last night. Rebounding, honestly, wasn't amazing either. And it was the Jamal Murray show. So we end up going essentially 3-3, couple of, non-1 unit plays here with the ladder. But down 0.25 units. I want a big day, and hopefully that's today. So jumping into Props Madness like we always do to start talking about our plays here. We're starting with Kel'el Ware over 9.5 points. So 10+ points, minus 125 on BetMGM. Kel'el Ware has been pretty dang good at getting over this line, and he's got a great matchup against the Brooklyn Nets, who rank 24th in restricted area defense. 58% of Kel'el Ware's shots come from there. Within 10 feet, they're ranked 26th. 66% of his shots come from there. How else does he score? We can get some corner threes going above the break, a couple, maybe a few a game. 27th ranked there. He can get some stuff going in transition. 26th ranked there. Pretty much any way this guy scores, they're going to be weak to it. And if you think about the game in general, guys like Tyler Hero, these guys that work in the pull-up game, a guy like Norman Powell, who is out, by the way, would be working in that pull-up game. They're going to get a little bit more coverage and defensive pressure once they start to try to go into the paint or above the break threes. They don't mind doubling, which in turn allows these open spot-up shooters and guys rim running. So Kel'el Ware, perfect spot to score the basketball. Now, where's his minutes going to be? Because that's confusing me a little bit. Is he going to get 20 minutes? Is he going to get 30 minutes? So that's kind of where where his expected stats are going to come from me, 18 to 28 minutes. That sounds pretty normal. He's over this in 70% of games in just 18 to 28 minutes. And he's had some big games recently. And without Jovic and without Powell, exactly where we're going to get today, he played 29 minutes last game and had 13 points against the Rockets, who are a very tough defense. Without Norm Powell, without Jovic, he's over this in every single game so far this season. Only 3 of them, but small sample size. But again, that's against the Rockets. The Bulls are definitely an easier matchup down low, and maybe the Mavericks too. So it's good to see that he's done it in easy matchups, done it in hard matchups, and now he's got a pretty dang good matchup to score inside or out, wherever he's finding the space. So without Powell, without Jovic, he should get a little bit more time in the court. If he's going to get more than 18 minutes, which I kind of do expect, I'm thinking like 22 to 28. The hit rate's going to be there. And again, some of these games he's not getting there. Some really tough interior defenses like the Wolves, like the Pistons, like the Magic. And then in these cushier matchups, he can go off against these teams. So it's no mystery why one of his best games of the season came against the Nets earlier in the year. Played 30 minutes. They won that game by 11. There was no Tyler Hero, but today we get no Norman Powell. He had 22 points in that thing. So I'm liking Kel'el Ware. A little bit of juice here, but I don't mind going up. If it goes to 10.5, I'd still probably play it. For the video picks, though, we're getting a win here, minus 125 on the 9.5 points. Moving to play number 2, it's going to be a guy that's been losing minutes, but I still think this line's too low. 13.5 points and rebounds for Derik Queen. Even in the minimal minutes he's been getting, it's 8, 19, 20, 18. Pelicans in full tank mode. They're starting DeAndre Jordan for some reason over a guy like Derik Queen, who's a young rookie. This is like a perfect time to play your rookies. But yeah, he hasn't been getting a lot of time since DeAndre Jordan started starting games, except for last game. They lost that game by 20 points, and they ran Derik Queen out there for 29 minutes, and he obviously crushed that line against the Clippers. Now he gets the Lakers, who he's played really well against so far this season. Now again, 32, 28, 29 minutes. That's the very higher echelon of where his minutes might lay today, because he has been getting around 19, 20, and 18 minutes. And while it doesn't make sense to me, while I think he's going to get way more minutes than that, I still got to go by what the numbers are showing right now. And right now they're saying, hey, he might get, on the low side, 18 minutes. And on the high side, let's say he gets 29 minutes like he did against that Clippers team. This is 8.5 point spread. Pelicans trying to lose. They just got DeJounte Murray. They're starting DeAndre Jordan. This team looks all super weird. Maybe they get blown out and Derik Queen gets more time on the court anyway. Or maybe they just decide, yeah, we can't run DeAndre Jordan out here. Let's start, playing our young guys again. And Derik Queen gets the time that way. Regardless, 18 to 29 minutes, he's still over this in 80% of games. And again, the rebounding matchup, sure, it's a tough one. It's a good matchup for him to score down low. Tough rebounding matchup. He's over this in 10 of 11 games. So I'm not worried about the rebounding matchup. He's played well against his Lakers team already. DeAndre Jordan is not him. He's old. And Derik Queen is a young dude. They're trying to tank. They're trying to lose. Why not play Derik Queen anyway? Again, if he gets 19 or 18 minutes, maybe we're a little bit more sweaty, but he's been getting there anyway, even in the limited time. But again, makes more sense to me that he plays 25 to 29 minutes. But I'm going off the numbers. So 18, 29 minutes, he's still crushing this thing. His line's too low. I don't understand it. I think he'll crush it. I think he could ladder it. But for the sake of the video picks, we're just sticking with the 13.5 normal line, minus 115 payout. Moving to the next play here, it's going to be LaMelo Ball under his 32.5 PRA. Minus 108 is the price tag, and we typically go pretty in-depth on some of these plays. We look at the filters, we look at similar players and all that kind of stuff, and we can point to that here, but this line is just too high, and it's been too high for a while now. LaMelo's only hit this line on the over 25% in the last 20 games. Obviously, if you take into account the beginning of the year, LaMelo came in as an all-star, like shoe-in, and now the Charlotte Hornets are like, we're playing team basketball, and everyone's going to get theirs. It's not just the LaMelo show anymore, and of course, they're a better team because of that. So he's only over this in 25% of games, but it's not like this line is just super high because someone's out or this is a very easy matchup like the Wizards game here. He just hasn't been hitting this line regardless. Closing lines, he's only over this in 35% of games, and his line just continues to be right around this line, whether it's 31.5 or even 33.5. 32.5 is kind of right in the middle, and we've seen it time and time again, and he just hasn't been hitting it time and time again. So let's go to look at the matchup now, because, again, the Wizards, he had a 52 PRA game against these guys, sure, but the Wizards suck all around, and the Mavericks are not amazing. They're dealing with injuries, which is good for a blowout situation, which would be great here if LaMelo loses some minutes that way. But what they do is they do defend the three-point line pretty well, and they funnel you into the paint. So guys that are going to be scoring a lot will probably be the guys that are doing some damage at the rim, whether that's Miles Bridges, Diabate, any of those guys that are really penetrating, because LaMelo can get there, but it really only accounts for about 40% of his shots within, the rim stuff. When he's having these big scoring games, it's usually these above the break 3 games where he's launching a bunch of threes and he's getting them to fall. This is a better defense in terms of above the break threes, 4th ranked overall, and that's 50% of LaMelo's shots. In terms of pick and roll ball handling, sure, they're a little bit weaker, and I could see LaMelo, getting a few assists here. I just don't think, his scoring is going to be too crazy, and I just think this line continues to be too high for LaMelo. So, again, the matchup here is something that's not the best. It's not the Wizards. And with him consistently not getting this line, sure, his floor is pretty high. He gets around 26 as his floor, but he does not cross this 32.5 mark enough for me to be like, oh, yeah, LaMelo's going to hit this over. No, it's much more likely that he's going to stay on the under here. And we can look at some guys that have gone against this team. This is just positional, so it doesn't show how they play, but point guard's only over in 5 of 15 in the last games. And yeah, this one just makes a whole lot of sense. Not getting there enough for me to think the over's, achievable. Obviously anything can happen, but much more likely stays on the under in my eyes. And the last thing I'll point to is the fact that, why am I going to the points, rebounds, and assists? They give up a lot of assists. They give up a lot of rebounds. I've already said, hey, he could have a bigger assist game. I think LaMelo is probably going to have a good game in one of those regards, whether that's scoring, whether that's assisting, whether that's rebounding. I don't think he's going to have a really good game overall because there's a blowout situation, 12.5 point spread that we could see something like that because of the price tag I'm getting here at minus 108. If I just wanted to look at the lines themselves and not have to go off the prices, if I could make my own prices, I'd probably look points and rebounds because I do think he could dime up a little bit. But at the same time, 32.5 PRA, probably going to be the hardest thing to hit if there's limited time, if there's a blowout situation, and just looking at all the games in general. So I'm liking the 32.5 PRA. If you want to go to the points and rebounds, that makes sense to me too. I'm just not really, running to grab LaMelo's overs in this matchup. So 32.5 PRA, Not much more I can say for this one. -108, taking the under. And jumping in the final play today, it's going to be Jevon Carter for the Magic. Now, if you don't know, he used to play for the Chicago Bulls, and he's had a couple good scoring games here, but the real reason I'm going to him is because there's no Franz Wagner and there's no Anthony Black here. So take these Bulls out of the equation, and you're going to see a game. Well, obviously, he didn't play with these guys on Chicago, but with Orlando, he played one game, and that was against Detroit, and he shot horribly, 1 of 6, only had 2 points in that game, but he played 30 minutes in that game, which is great to see. So now going to the expected minutes, 20 to 30 minutes. He's over this in 83% of games. Sure, tough one against the Pistons. It's a tough defense overall. Now you get the Wizards, who are the worst defense in the entire league. He's played these guys already once this game, and again, 2 points. None of this is looking good, right? But he only played 11 minutes in that thing. He should get the time in the court. Going over RotoWire, we can see his projected minutes a little bit more tightly. They give us an actual number. If I can find this game, and we can see projected minutes for Carter today, 24 minutes. So 20 to 24 minutes seems pretty dang good. Again, even with Orlando, he's had some of these bigger games. In games, he's seeing a little bit more time. In these games, he's seeing 16, 19 minutes. Probably not going to get there, but give him a little extra time on the court, and he can do some damage. And again, this is the Wizards. They suck overall. You can see the spot up the transition. Anyway, this guy scores the points. He should be able to do pretty dang good in the time he's going to get on the court. So again, I'll show it one more time. The minutes, 20 to 30 minutes, he can get over this line in a lot of those games. And the Wizards are horrible defensively. Pistons, very good. We'll give him a pass on that one. Carter, get it done for us. -110 price tag over the 8.5 points. So we're about to hop into the recap of today's video, and there's going to be no full slate breakdown today just because you're going to see by the time I upload this thing, it's a little bit later than usual. I got a little bit of a later start today. So let's go over the recap, and then I'll get you guys on your way. Kel'el Ware starting us off, 10+ points. Love the price tag here. I'll pay the little bit of juice, but I think you could get this up to a little bit higher. He's got a great matchup today. Derik Queen, points and rebounds. I don't know why this guy would get less than 20 minutes, but he might, and that's why it's super low, but he's been doing it even in the limited time. LaMelo Ball, under his 32.5 PRA. This guy just doesn't get there. They keep setting his line here, and the under keeps hitting. So I don't really care about the matchup against the Dallas Mavericks. There's blowout potential. I'll take my chances on the under in 32.5. And then Jevon Carter, get us some extra time. Low point total because he only had 2 points against the Pistons. First game, he's had a decent amount of minutes with the Magic, and now with no Anthony Black, with no Franz Wagner, Jevon Carter should get some extra time in the court, and he's got the Wizards. Great matchup to score for anyone. So those are the 4 plays. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave the video a like, comment something down below, subscribe, all those good things. Going to help YouTube push this video out a little bit more. And that's it for me. I'll see you guys in the next one. Good luck with all your plays. And yeah, tomorrow's Wednesday. I'll see you then.